Progress Toronto will be knocking on doors for today's Day of Action for Refugee Shelter Spaces, a push to Minister of Finance Chrystia Freeland to deliver $157 million committed federal funding to help shelter newly arrived refugees. Joining me now for more on this is Saman Tabasi-Negie, Acting Executive Director with more. Saman, I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I guess first off, tell me a little bit more about what's going on today.
Yeah, so today about, I think, 16, 17 volunteers who have signed up are going to be meeting at Bathurst Station to knock on doors and ask residents to sign a petition calling on Minister Freeland, as well as Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, to deliver on that $157 million. And we'll be distributing these flyers, asking them to take action. Right now, we all know that our shelter system and our housing system is at a crisis point. And there are people, refugees, asylum seekers, especially those from African countries, stranded, living on the street. This is unacceptable. And if Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Minister Freeland want to tout being a safe place for refugees and that we are a country that upholds human rights, we need that funding and we need to support refugees once they get here so they're not abandoned on the street, as you can see, with their belongings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the situation there is so shocking and it seems to be, to me at least, getting worse. I'm not sure if you've been on the ground in those areas at all recently, but if you have, what have you been seeing? What have you been hearing from people that are in the middle of all this?
Yeah, actually, Progress Toronto's offices are just down the street from 129 Peter, and I was just there on Friday, witnessing too many people out on the street feeling abandoned. Just last night we had another storm. It's been an incredibly rainy couple of weeks. Imagine sleeping in that. It's shameful that our government has abandoned people who are seeking refuge in our country. And that's why at Progress Toronto we launched this campaign. And anyone who's interested can actually go onto our website, progresstoronto.ca, sign a petition that will actually directly send Prime Minister Trudeau and Minister Freeland an email calling on them to take action.
Okay, so you mentioned that $157 million in federal funding. Were you expecting that already? What was the plan with that in terms of when we were supposed to get that funding?
I'm not super sure on those specifics, but those are the numbers that are coming from the City of Toronto, who have assessed the situation. We already know the City of Toronto is in a massive deficit, and these extra pressures on an already breaking shelter system have really led this, to this crisis where we're seeing the human impact. There are frontline workers who are saying that there are refugees and asylum seekers who are staying on the street who have trench foot. In the year 2023, this is an absolute shame and a shameful situation that we are in. And it's not just a Toronto issue. This is a situation that we're seeing developing around the province. And that's because we're seeing the shelter crisis kind of converge with the affordable housing crisis. And we need to see the federal government take action.
Okay, Saman, I do appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today on such an important issue. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's Saman Tabasi-Negie, Acting Executive Director with Progress Toronto.